Pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another edition of BML, I guess? We'll call it BML. We'll call it BML here on BAOS. And this is a special one. As you can tell by these flags, we are feeling very patriotic right now. And the irony that just hit me is that I'm an Australian doing a ode to Canadian beer. But you know what? It's 2017. It's globalization. It is what it is. So yesterday, by the time this drops, yesterday was Canada Day, and it was the 150th anniversary of the nation. So happy birthday, Canada. Please let me start giving my PR. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much. We actually, this kind of came together accidentally. The good folks at Mill Street sent us their special Canada Day beer. And I was like, you know what? And I happened to have got my hands on some these two special packs from Central City in BC. So I was like, you know what? I could do a quick snapshot of the Canada 150 beer roundup. So a lot of breweries have put together beers specifically for the 150. I've seen a bunch of them around. I didn't really go out of my way to get my hands on them, but I figured there's a couple that I did. So we have enough here to at least give you guys a snapshot of some cool stuff the breweries are doing to celebrate the country, the ingredients, the beer culture in every individual province. It's super, super cool. So first of all, Mill Street sent us this bad boy. One of their big dogs that they've been doing. It's called Red Ensign. It's a Canadian raspberry wheat beer, 7%, and I guess it's a Prairie Malt, BC raspberries, Ontario hops. So right across the country, repping everything there. So this one looks very, very sexy. Really cool wax sealed flip top, which is going to be quite the task to undo. So I'm just going to remove this in the interest of practicality. And these two guys here, so Central City are a brewery in Surrey, BC, and they did this crazy project that must have started like 6 to 12 months ago. And what they did was picked one brewery from each province or territory and brought them to their brewery in BC. I'm fairly sure that's what they did, so they could control the actual production of the beer. And then they made a beer using unique ingredients from that particular province. And they arranged it all beforehand so that there wasn't like 12 IPAs or whatever, because of course that's how brewers do. So in BC and in the West, I have mates out there, you can get these actually in a 12 pack. So yeah, out here, I actually picked these up in Toronto a couple of weeks ago. They had them separately, which I heard that was what they did. I think that's probably because of the restrictions, like they would have to get it in the beer store to be able to sell 12 packs. So it's probably more of a logistical reason, a practical reason, as opposed to wanting to separate them into an East pack and a West pack, which is a bank in Australia for y'all North Americans that wouldn't find that funny. So this is the West pack, 6 breweries from the West Coast. So Four Winds did a beer called Left of the Divide IPA, which I'm actually going to crack open now, with Idaho 7 hop hash, which is super cool. Alberta, Last Best Brewing, did a beer called Berry Light Berliner Weiss. So it's using wheat, raspberries, and vanilla for a little sour joint. In Saskatchewan, Black Bridge Brewery did a beer called Wide Open Spaces, and it's a Keller beer. Manitoba, Half Pints Brewery in Winnipeg did a beer called Land of Rice and Honey, probably because it's prairies, they got a lot of rice, they got honey, and it's a saison. In Ontario here, which we're actually going to review as well now, it's Bose, and it's called Upper Reaches Pale Ale, which is a pale ale with peaches and Ontario white spruce tips, which I'm super excited about. In Quebec, here they did a collab with Le Trou de Diable, and it's called Bouclier Canadien Pilsner, and that's something about the Canadian Shield, that big rock thing, and it's a hopped Pilsner, which sounds amazing. In New Brunswick, they did a beer with picaroons, and it's called Restored Hope ESB, or Restored Hop with an E in brackets. Very, very smart. They did Nova Scotia with Garrison, and it's called a New Scottish Ale, of course. PEI, they did a beer called Bière d'Ici Honey Ale, like beer of here honey ale. In Newfoundland, they did a beer with one that keeps popping up, Quiddy Viddy Brewing. I keep hearing about them, called Hop to the East Hefeweizen, which sounds pretty dope. With Yukon, they did a beer called Swift Current Dark Ale. And Northwest Territories, they did a beer with NWT Brewing Company called Miners Refresh Grisette. So, that's a lot of beer, guys. So do you know what? I'm going to start with the Bose Pale Ale, which sounds sick. So Ontario White Spruce Tips and Peaches, which is sick. Being a... that sounds great. Oh yeah, let's look at that. Just going to pour little bits in the interest of time here. So Upper Reaches Pale Ale. You know, we're huge fans of Bose here. And I like anything with... peaches is such a cool ingredient to have in beer. So super cool. This is nice and pouring like honey colored. Smells like a nice pale ale, super malty. Get in ya. All right. Wow, that's great. Of course. Definitely taste the peaches. Nice fruity vibes in there. A little bit of bitterness, and it's like this kind of like a herby, grassy, earthy vibe. I guess that's from the spruce tips. Never really liked spruce beers, but you know, Bose might have changed my mind. A little bit bitter, a little tangy. Yeah, the tanginess is hanging around. I'm not sure if this is one of the type of pale ales where you're supposed to like rock it pretty soon, but it seems to hold up really well. That's fantastic. Really, really good. This bad boy, on the other hand, from Four Winds, who is a new favorite of mine out there in BC, Left of the Divide IPA. And this with the Idaho 7 hop hash, but it's a West Coast IPA, not a Northeast IPA. And I recently found out that I always thought that hop hash was predominantly used in in more of the Northeast style. I'm really going to pour a little bit so I can neck this. But I had a beer from BC the other day that was hop hash and was completely like West Coast style, like hoppy and clear and stuff like that, which is what this is right here. Super dark, a lot darker than expected. Ooh, that's dank. This actually smells exactly like the other beer. It was the Powell Hop Hash. Let's call it Hop Hash Double IPA. Get in here. Yeah, tastes exactly like that. Super dark, super dank, sorry. Wow, really bitter. Tangy, slightly sweet. A little bit like a fruity, sort of subtle fruity sweetness. Yeah, it's really good. So all of these beers, I mean, I haven't been everywhere around Canada. I've been to a bunch of places, but for y'all Canadians who probably have a little bit more resonance with the ingredients that they use for each province, I just think it's such a cool idea, and it's such a bold project to try and like you know, bring all of these breweries together to make 12 beers to be released right in time for Canada Day and have it available across the country, which is a huge task, particularly because the beer, from what I understand, originates in BC, which means it has to come all the way to Newfoundland, like right across the country, via their networks, which is insane. So, very cool. So, this might take me a second to get this bad boy open. Might have some editing to do, Tiff. Alright, smells good. Ooh, nice. So, Canadian Raspberry Wheat, 7%. Mill Street have done a bunch of beers like this recently. They had the Langed, was it? Blood of the Moon or whatever. I forgot what it is in French, which was quite nice. A few other little ones. And they've always been like really big beers. So, and this is another one. Nice, sort of like a cherry color almost, even though it's raspberries. Yeah, sweet. You can kind of smell the booze a little bit on the nose there. Good little head. Get this in you, mate. Yeah, it's solid, man. Sometimes these higher ABV ones in like wheat beers, I'm not the biggest fan. This is great. Nice balanced fruit aromas, and the sweetness is blending in nicely with like the wheat. A little bit of the cloves and coriander kind of vibes. Not really getting the bananas or anything that sometimes you get in like Hefeweizens. Yeah, man. I really like this. This is going to be a nice little summer crusher. Definitely a shareable beer. So Tiff, I hope you're helping me out. Yes. Give me that look. Thank you so much. So yeah, guys, I just really want to just quickly celebrate Canadian beer, and it's been really, really good to us at BAOS. I mean, based between Montreal and Toronto, and we've popped over to the States, to Vermont, we've gone to Australia, we're about to go to Michigan, a bunch of other places, and everyone's been so warm, and it's been very, very cool seeing the Canadian brewing scene grow over the last 6 and a bit years since I've been doing the blog which then turned into the podcast, which then turned into these videos. And just to see, you know, the quality of the beer just go through the roof, it's really cool, and it's been quick as well. Like in the last 2-3 years tops, it's just been insane. You know, there's a lot of breweries in Canada I would rate up with a lot of my favorites in the States. So I feel like I'm not the only one who would feel that way. And it's very, very, you know, it's cool to see. It's cool to see, you know, these local people, you know, starting these breweries and you know, really putting everything into it and doing their homework and studying and going to places where, you know, whether it's Europe or the States or anywhere else where, you know, the beer scene is really advancing, and to borrow the techniques and get inspired and bring those flavors to the Canadian palates, and to see things like, you know, like we crap on about all the time, milkshake IPAs, Northeast IPAs and things like that are the big trends down south, you know, bringing these here and doing them exceptionally well. You know, there's a lot of breweries we talk about often that are doing that. So if you get an opportunity to try any of these packs, wherever you are in Canada, in the States, mate, sorry fellas, you're gonna have to duck up north as well. The Mill Street should be available across the country, so definitely pick these up. If you see any other beers that are specifically made for the 150 that you think that maybe we should be trying or get our hands on, please let us know in the comments below. We're super excited for it. So I hope you enjoyed Canada Day, whether you celebrate or not. You know, this is an amazing country. It's done a lot for me personally, and I'm super grateful to be here. So respect to y'all. If you enjoyed the video, chuck us a thumbs up, hit subscribe button as well, and the little notification bell thing. Follow us on social media at BOS Podcast, and of course the podcast itself. You know, we've got a whole bunch of great content coming this summer as well, and we're continuing. We've got a whole bunch lined up, really exciting stuff lined up. So subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or wherever else you get your audio goodness. That's about it, guys. Cheers. Get in ya.